to program the snowball that our NPC penguin, our bad guy penguin, our opposing penguin throws at us, it's actually a fairly simple process. We are going to duplicate the sprite with all of its coding, and let me put this back together there, and make sure the other one is disabled. I'm going to duplicate it with all its coding. We're going to change just the triggering event and a couple of the positives and negatives down here to make sure that it just goes the other direction and starts at the correct penguin. And then that'll give us our base program so that everything functions. And from there, we'll be able to start programming, well, what happens when the snowball hits each other? What happens when it hits the other penguin? How do we know that we've been hit? That sort of stuff. Anyways, so we're going to right-click on the snowball and hit duplicate. Now we've got snowball 2. So this is snowball 2. So the first thing that we are going to do is I am going to grab all the insides of this and take it out. Okay, that triggering event gets totally reprogrammed. So we're going to redo that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change what happens when we start as a clone. So we're going to go to penguin 2, repeat until touching penguin. That's a very important change because if these two match, you're never going to see this snowball. Okay, and now we want it to repeat until the X position is less than, so I do have to pull this part out, go to operators, grab the less than. X position is less than negative 230. Get rid of this portion here. And the other thing we want to do is we want to go negative 10. Again, we want it to fly the other direction. So that should be X reducing itself this way. And then if it gets less than negative 230, it should disappear. If it hits this penguin, it should also disappear. Now I'm going to set up what's going to happen to trigger it. Okay, so one of the things we don't want is we don't want a pattern. I don't want my opposing penguin just throwing them every 1 second or something like that. That makes them too easy to dodge. So what I'm going to do is under forever, I'm going to put a wait until, or I'm sorry, I'm going to grab a regular wait. Wait, set number of seconds. Okay, and at this point it says 1 second, and at that point that's when I'm going to have it create a clone of myself. Okay, and again, if I did this every 1 second, it would throw one. Okay, again, a very predictable pattern. Okay, and you did see when it hit, it disappeared. So I want to randomize this. So under operators, there's a pick random. And what I want it to do is wait anywhere between 0.25, that's 1/4 of a second, and 3 seconds. Okay, if you want to change the difficulty of your game, can you adjust these? Absolutely, you can. Okay, but really that's what we're looking to do, is have it randomly throw somewhere in that process. Okay, so as I green flag this, now it throws, then it throws again. There we go, and that was too closer. Okay, and then I can view this as well. Okay, that's the non-playable character on the snowball side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and separate the when I start as a clone. I'm going to go back to the water balloon and put it back together. I'm going to go to the original snowball and take this out. So again, if you're doing the water balloon thing, here's very simply the only change that you're going to make. So we're going to duplicate our water balloon. So we have water balloon 2. I'm going to gut this, make the same changes, penguin 2, penguin. And just as a little tip, I could have done this before. If I switch where the X position is, I automatically have it as less than, and negative 230, I believe it was. And negative. There we go. And again, we do the wait. You guys know what the random is like, so I'm going to skip that part just to be faster. And then after we click create a clone of myself, that is where we will then put the next costume. Okay, so as I green flag this, they throw a yellow, a blue, a thing. See? So they're randomized as well. So really all you're going to do is add next costume in that location. Okay, and now again, I can throw that at them as well. I'm going to try to wait so that we're not throwing the same color, so you can see that it's not dependent, that they run independently of each other. And there you go. Now, if you want to have it so that both of their first ones aren't yellow, you can look at the costumes and say, okay, what are their names? A, B, C, D, E. So let's just pretend we want our first penguin to start out in the middle. So we could actually tell it, switch to costume, and we'll do this at the beginning here, switch to C. And that way, every time I start, it's going to start on C. It's going to throw that pink one every time. And there it goes again, starting with throwing the pink one. So if you'd like to do something like that, that's fine. In the future videos, there's really going to be no difference between water balloons and snowballs. So in my next video, you'll find that I don't have the water balloon sprites anymore, and I'll do all of the programming on the snowball sprites. Now, if you did this water balloon fight, you would just do yours on your water balloons that correspond to either your non-playable character or your playable character, either way. So that'll do it for this video in programming the non-playable character's water balloon or snowball.